So, in this week's PARSHA, we have the Aseres HaDibros, and there's two ways to learn the Aseres HaDibros. There's something called Tam Tachtain, and there's something called Tam Elyon. Tam Tachtain is a certain way the trop is in the PARSHA, and Tam Elyon is a different way of the trop in the Aseres HaDibros. When we learn biyachid, the person learns to himself, he's going through the PARSHA being Mavis Ezra, you say Tam Tachtain. When you say it b'tzibur, when we learn it in shul, we learn it with Tam Elyon. It's a different type of trop. What's the difference between the two trop? So if you look in the psukim, Tam Tachtain has different psukim. It says, Anochi Shemo Lekecha, Layilecha. It says Zachar Shem Shabbos Lekadashai. The dibur of Zachar Shem Shabbos Lekadashai, which is one dibur, one of the Aseres HaDibros. It's a long one. It's split up into 3 or 4 psukim, I think. That's Tam Tachtain. At the end, when you have the last 5 dibros that are very short, like Sirtzach, like Sinach, like Signov, like Sinach, like SHMOT, there are 5 dibros together. It's all in one pasuk. All in one pasuk. That's Tam Tachtain. Tam Tachtain is when you learn it, the way the trop goes, there's split up the psukim, not according to the dibros. The psukim are split up, even you could have one dibur with 4 psukim, and you could have 5 dibros in one pasuk. Tam Elyon is not that way. If you listen when they learn it in shul this week, Zachar Shem Shabbos Lekadashai, all the way to the end of that dibur is one long pasuk. There's no soif pasuk. It's one long pasuk. Like Sirtzach, like Sinach, like Signov, like SHMOT. These are all separate psukim. That's why it says Loi, Signov, Loi, Tirtzach. It changes from a sof to a taf because it's the beginning of a pasuk. It's every one is its own pasuk. That's the chiluk in Tam Tachta and Tam Elyon. Tam Elyon is each dibur is its own pasuk. You can have a very long pasuk. The Zachar Shem Shabbos Lekadashai is a very long pasuk, and you can have very short ones like Sirtzach, like Sinach, like Signov, and then you have Tam Tachtain where the psukim are split up not according to the dibros. What's the difference? I want to say pshat once is that when you have, the Gemara says in a few places that people should learn by themselves. If a person learns by himself without a chavrusa, without being part of a tzibur, then you don't get the Gemara, whatever you're learning gets clear. You have a chavrusa and you learn with somebody, what happens is, the Gemara says, cherev ala badim, for those who learn bad. Those who learn separately by themselves, it's not a good thing. So you're supposed to learn, a person's supposed to learn, together with somebody else, and it'll make it clearer. So you see from the Gemara, when 2 people learn together, everything becomes clearer. When a person learns by himself, it's not so clear. Because you don't have a masa mata, and you don't have a give and take, it's not as clear. Tam Elyon, or we learn b'tzibur, or we learn everyone together, every dibur is separate, it's clear. We see exactly which dibur is which. Tam Tachtain, when you learn by yourself, that's called Tam Tachtain. It's not clear which dibur is which. You can have one dibur, 3 psukim, and 5 diburs in one pasuk. So the diburs aren't split up very clearly. That's why when we come b'tzibur, we learn everyone together, we learn Tam Elyon, and then each dibur becomes clear to show us that a tzibur that learns together is much clearer than when a yachid learns by himself.
I make was a tachta, right?
Tachta, yeah, it's yachid. That was Agdam. Just had to stall some time till Mendel settled down.
I'm sorry.
Fine, okay, now I'd like to speak about it. And after that Aseres HaDibros, in the Aseres HaDibros, you have Anochi and Layilecha, and then at the end of the PARSHA, there's a pasuk that says, "Leisasun iti, you shouldn't make with me, for me, elahei kesef, but lehei zav, leisasun lechem." It's a lot in the Torah to go ahead and make avodah zaros. Leisasun iti, lehei kesef, lehei zav. You're not allowed to make, as they call it, getchkes. How do they call it in English? Statues, basically.
Idols.
Idols. You're not allowed to make idols. So, leisasun iti, lehei kesef, lehei zav. You're not allowed to make them. Now we look at the pasuk and we say, yeah, that pasuk is nothing to do with us. Who today makes statues or makes avodah zaros? So we'll see it has a lot to do with us. Why? Because there's a Gemara in avodah zara that the Gemara brings down that you're not allowed to make certain things. You're not allowed to make, for example, we spoke about this once. You're not allowed to make. The Gemara starts off. You're not allowed to make a dimyan of the heichal. You're not allowed to make a house that looks like the Beis Hamikdash. You're not allowed to make a menorah that looks like the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. The menorah in the Beis Hamikdash had seven branches. You're not allowed to make a menorah with 7 branches. That's one of the reasons they give by the Nes Chanukah why we make it 8 days instead of 7 days. One of the answers they give is because if it be a 7-day Yom Tov, people will make menorahs with 7 branches. And you're not allowed to make a menorah with 7 branches. Therefore, they made it 8 days. Therefore, no one's going to make a menorah with 7 branches. One of the reasons they give. You know that.
How do they in Israel? It was the Cordovo.
Yeah.
Big problem.
It's a big problem. It's none of it, right? Yeah. So it's a problem. So the question is, I don't go through the whole thing now, but the question is, you have a Lichter. So now the Lichter only has 7 branches. So it could be. It's only if they're straight. The way was done in the Beis Hamikdash. Yeah, right. But if it's in a circle,
a long line has to be.
That's not so simple. Not everyone agrees to that. But that's the answer they give. That it's in a round, so they give a time for.
Obviously, the Yisro is even if it's not gold.
Even if it's not gold, right? Even if it's not gold, that's halacha. You're not allowed to make it. Even Kli'et, it says you're not allowed to make. So that's an isser of making something the way it was made in the Beis Hamikdash. That has nothing to do with an isser of avodah zarah. It's more like a respect for the Beis Hamikdash. For the respect of the Kem of the Beis Hamikdash, we don't make it for our personal use. Something that looks like the Beis Hamikdash, something that looks like the Kalim of the Beis Hamikdash, you don't make it for your own personal use, because then it looks like you're using for yourself the Kalim of the Beis Hamikdash. That's what the Gemara starts off. That the Gemara says, how about to make shapes of the sun and the moon and the mazolos? And the Gemara says, you're not allowed to make them. And the Gemara says that you could make them. The Gemara comes out that the Isser is to make. I'm not going to go through the whole Gemara, but the Gemara says, Kol ha'pritzoyfos mutarim, all pictures are mutter, chutz mi partzuf adam, besides the picture, the form of the face of a person. Why? Amar Yehuda, Rei de Yeshua, mi pirkei de Yeshua shamali, leisasun iti. And we dash the pasuk, loy sasin oisi. Leisasun iti means, you dash it, don't make me, oisi. And the Rishonim explain, leisasun oisi means, don't make me the way I appear to the Nevi'im. Means the Eibishter himself. The way the Eibishter appears to the Nevi'im, and the way it says in the Torah, the Eibishter is compared to as if he has a guf. We know one of the animamim is that Hashem has no guf, but he appears like he has one. B'yod chazaka, v'zuroi anatuya. The way we describe Hashem usually is he sees us with his eyes. Right? That's you find a lot of Gemaras that way, a lot of psukim. And since the Eibishter, the way he shows himself to the Nevi'im is the look of a person, therefore leisasun oisi. That's what the Gemara dashes. Don't make me. You're not allowed to make me, which means you're not allowed to make the Eibishter. You're not allowed to make a form of a person. That's what the Gemara says. Then the Gemara says other forms maybe you couldn't make, the sun and the moon. The Gemara is a kasha from Rabbi Gamliel. That Rabbi Gamliel, when he used to test the Eidim to see how they saw the moon, he used to have pictures of the moon. The Gemara says you can't make pictures of the moon. So the Gemara gives a few terutzim. I'm just going to pick out one or two that comes out of Lacha L'Maisa. So the Maisa of the Gemara says that Rabbi Gamliel, he didn't keep it permanent, he took it apart, he just put it together, the prakim, or he did it lehislame, to teach. He allowed to do it to teach. That's only said on the sun and the moon. On the pritzav of a person, doesn't give a head to they allowed to do it to teach. Now I want to read you a Taisus, which will be very negay later on in the shir. Taisus says, one of the truths the Gemara gives is, Shani Rabbi Gamliel da'acherim asuloi. Rabbi Gamliel didn't make it himself. He didn't make the forms of the moon and the sun. He had somebody else make it for him. So he didn't do it.
Someone did it.
A guy. He had a guy do it for him. Same thing would come out, a prince of Adam. I'm not making a face of a person. I'm not making a statue. Someone else made it, and then I went ahead and I bought it from that person. So is that mutter? Someone else to make it for you. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Gamliel wasn't a problem. Why? He didn't make it himself. Acherim asulai, other people made it for him. That's what the Gemara says. Ask Sakasha. What does it help that Acherim made it for him? Tosha says, Chiddush, that anything you're not allowed to do, you're not allowed to tell a guy to do it for you. We used to this in the Gaya Hilchas Shabbos. In Hilchas Shabbos, we know something called Amir La'akum. You can't do something, you can't ask a guy to do it for you. Says Tosfos, it's not just by Shabbos. Any Isser that you're not allowed to do, you're not allowed to ask a guy to do it for you. Any Isser. So if I'm not allowed to make a form of something, that's in the form of a person, I cannot ask a guy to go ahead and make it for me.
How about the guy already did it? He was like,
Okay, that's something else. If the guy already did it, we'll get to it later on. If the guy already made it for himself, if you're allowed to use it, we'll get to it later on. But Tosfos has a kasha, how could the guy do it for you? Tosfos is a teretz, and he says, the mitzvah shani, Rabbi Gamliel did it for a mitzvah. When you need it for a mitzvah, you're allowed to tell a guy to do it for you. And we find the same thing in Hilchas Shabbos. A lot of times the shvus is mutter. Same idea. It's the same idea that if you're a mitzvah, a guy could do it for you. That's his teretz. It comes out from Tosfos that if the guy, if it's not a mitzvah, you want a guy to go ahead and make a moon for you, shape of a moon for you, and you said, ask the guy, can you make me a shape of the moon? According to Tosfos, you're not allowed to ask a guy to make it for you if it's not a mitzvah. Right. Let's keep this Tosfos tomorrow. We'll get back to it soon. Then the Gemara says other questions. The Gemara comes out and says, other people made it for him, and he said, Sami Eine Didon. Rabbi Yehuda also needed a statue or something, and a guy made it for him, and he said, poke out his eyes. We'll see soon that's a het. If you have a statue, if you break off a part of it, let's say you knock out an eye or something or an ear, it's not a full form, so it's okay.
That's the reason sometimes you see form, their faces with no eyes or something, right?
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that. So he says that knock out an eye. So there the Gemara says, there it's different. Why? Because there was another problem called chashad. That means even though, let's say, acherem asulai, someone else makes it for you, so it's mutter, right? Says the Gemara, but a chashad still is. So what does mutter mean? When the Gemara says it's mutter, means you're allowed to use it and give it up. You're allowed to sell it. It's not also for you to use it. But to keep it in your possession, the Gemara says, you always have something called chashad. A chashad that will chayshish you, that maybe you yourself are using it. That's what the Gemara says chashad. I will see in halacha l'maaseh this Gemara is very important. Because in halacha it says, in Simon Kuf Mamalov, Hilchas Avodas Rechavim, that you're not allowed to make pictures of a person. Also the tzayer tzuras adam. Now, we're going to go now, this whole shit is going to be based on that the whole issue of making pictures of a person is not a picture. It's a form, a tzura, a model of a person. But drawing pictures of people, we're going to go on this shit that it's mutter. I'm not saying everyone agrees to that. A lot of persons that hold that to make a tzuras adam, even on a picture, is also a pi Kabbalah. A lot is written about it, about tzuras adam, pictures of people's faces, and that's where a lot of gedolim are very makbid. That they don't let people take pictures of them. There is a yesh lahachmir that even pictures not boilet, not pictures that are forms, are still usher, but we're not going with that. We're going to say that it's mutter because today, come on, everybody has it, and it's very, very hard to say that it's an isser.
Rabbi cards.
Rabbi cards, and I've seen people that are makbid that ask them that there are no pictures of gedolim in the house. And I said, why not? Because pictures are a big problem. And you go around the corner in the same house, in the next room, there's albums and albums. Right? The same isser on an album. Albums is the same isser as a Rebbe picture. as a good end of pictures. The same Issa, no difference. If you hold pictures of Osir, you shouldn't have one picture in your house of a face of a person. So the Ma'aseh, most people are not makbar on it. Most people are not makbar on it. Kabbalah, what?
Unless it's a woman.
Unless it's a woman. Yeah, to be makbar on that would come out. You can't even have in your house albums, chasana albums, whatever albums you have in your house, you wouldn't be able to have. I know some people are very makbar, don't take pictures, and I'll take pictures of me or of other people, very makbar on it, but in the house they have albums.
But there is a difference.
What's the difference?
Well, it's a gadol. You can have a chashash that maybe he wants to make this gadol as something. But just pictures of the family.
No, I think Kabbalah too is Adam is also.
Okay. No, but I'm saying there is somewhere a difference. I can see.
Is it painting and photography is all?
Yeah, painting is the same thing. Even though painting does boil a little bit, but it's not a full tzura. Tzura is not boiled, even though it's not smooth. It's all included in the heter. So we're going to go now that pictures and paintings are all mutter. We're going to talk about tzura, a form of a person. So the Mechaber says, also the tzayat tzuras shebamad shechina, you're not allowed to make pictures of the sun, the moon. V'chein tzuras adam levadai kol elu also la'asaysa. You're not allowed to make pictures, tzuras of people. Afilu haim l'noi, even though you're doing it only l'noi. L'noi means for niceness. You're not allowed to do it. So now, what's the reason why it's also? We said the pasuk assassin iti, assassin oisi. So if you remember, we started off, the Gemara says that you're not allowed to make pictures of the Beis HaMikdash, of the menorah. Why? Because it's out of respect. You can't have pictures of the Beis HaMikdash or forms of the Beis HaMikdash in your house imitating it. Some Rishonim say, and a lot of Rishonim say, that the same Issa is like assassin oisi. Don't make forms of a person, because that's like Hashem. And it's not bakavedik for Hashem. They should have the forms of a person which resembles Hashem. The Rambam doesn't learn that way. The Rambam learns that the Issa of assassin iti is included in the Issa of Avodah Zarah. It's a problem of Avodah Zarah. The Rambam says, also last is Suras Lunoi, Balpish Eidan Avodah Zarah, Shem al assassin iti the Heikasav Hezav, Kloimet Suras Shal Kasav Shal Zav Shehem Lunoi, Kidei, Shla Yitu Behen Hatoyim V'Yidmu Shehem La'Avodah. People shouldn't make a mistake and think that you're making it for Avodah Zarah. The Rambam learned it's a sniff or part of Avodah Zarah. If you go to Rambam, you have to be very machmir on this halacha. But the Maisa, most of the Rishonim learn, even though it's an issa of Leisasni, you're not allowed to make it, that's only to make it. But the Mechaber says, V'im oivit rechavim asam loi, if a guy makes it for you, also lahashoisam. You're not allowed to keep it. You're not allowed to make it, and if a guy makes it for you, also lahashoisam. So what's the issa to keep it? So says the Shach, Mishum chashoda. It's a chash. When it's bar b'sivka and Yudzayin Dwad and also loyme loy v'techavim la'ashoisam. You're not allowed to tell a guy to make it for you. Afilu einei roitz la'ashoisam. Shem da'mira loy v'techavim shvus. Afilu b'davar she'einei shal Shabbos. So the Shach says there's two things over here. If you have one, a guy made it. You want to take it from the guy and keep it in your house. Also l'ashoisam. You're not allowed to keep it in your house. Why? That's because of chashad. That was the Gemara we just saw. Shem chashada, you're not allowed to keep any type of form of a person in your house. Then says the Shach, and even if you don't want to keep it, you're just making it to sell. Let's say you can't make it. How about I tell a guy to make it for me? Also, you can't. Also, I'll say some. You're not allowed to tell a guy to make it for you, even though you're doing it to sell. Now there was a tshuva sent to Sobertan from Avad Yosef. And I was sent to him, and he says, "What's the heter for people who have shops, doll shops? People they manufacture dolls. So we have to come up with what the heter today at all is to have a doll in the house. It's tzuras adam. It's a full tzura, face, feet, hands, everything." But he said, someone said to him, "What's the heter for people to manufacture dolls? They're not keeping it. They're making it and they're selling it. So what's the heter?" So he writes back, "What? Okay, he wasn't even talking about Lifnei Iver. He wasn't even talking about Lifnei Iver. So what's the heter for people to manufacture dolls?" So he writes back in his Shuvah, he says, "Who said there's a heter? So he writes back. He sends back to who said there's a heter? People are doing it. Who said there's a heter? Just because people are doing it, it doesn't automatically become that it's mutter. And he says very strongly about Yosef and Yeshua, that's also. Someone has a doll company, he's not allowed to do it. Why? He's not making it himself. So what? You're telling a guy to make it for you. A guy's making it for you. He's your shliach to make it for you. You're not going to keep it, you're going to sell it, fine. You can't have somebody make it for you. That's what he said.
Mannequins?
So what?
Mannequins?
Mannequins will be the same thing. So mannequins could be made of heter with Islamite. Mannequins are what?
For dress forms.
Oh, for this, so it depends. Is there ears and eyes and it's a problem? Mannequins they use to teach CPR on it.
No eyes. It's just like a shaitel head.
Yeah, so shaitel head, they said heter there's no eyes, there's no ears. It's not a real tzura. Some people I know that makbid, even the shaitel heads, they chop off the nose.
Right.
You know, because it has some type of tzura to it.
Are the goyim allowed to have statues?
Oh, so it's an interesting question. And could the goyim do it? So it's an interesting question. First of all, what's in the gate to you?
But it is because it's in the flavor.
Oh, is there anything by a guy?
If I tell him,
Is there anything by a guy?
I imagine some
Very good. Very good. So the first question is the thing by a guy b'chlal? And second of all, is a question if this lav is for goyim. If the isser, that's why I said before, that this isser is a machlek is what the isser is. According to the Rambam, that the isser is really an isser of avodah zarah. It's a sniff, it's a power of avodah zarah, so goyim should have the same isser. Goyim must have an isser of avodah zarah. If you say the isser is only that it's covered for Hashem, it's a new type of isser, don't make doimit to Hashem because it's covered for Hashem, goyim aren't included in that isser. And most of the Rishonim say that way. So therefore, most of the Rishonim are going to hold, this does not apply to goyim. So if goy is making it, it's fine, but it can't be making it for you. A goy cannot be making it for you. So that's what Rabbi says. We'll come out according to him like this. There's a whole shayla of Hilchas Shabbos, right? A guy has a company. He's making dolls. You know, we'll get to in a few minutes how you could keep the dolls in your house. But I'm not up to that. I'm not up to the chashad. I'm up to now the issa deraisa of making it. You're not allowed to make the tzura yourself. That's an issa deraisa. Tzuras adam is also to make. So you're not making it. A goyish company is making it, and not your shliach. You know, right? He's making, and then he's selling it. And you go and you buy the doll, right? Is there any isser over there because they're making it? You can say, no, I didn't make it, the guy made it. But we find in Hilchas Shabbos, we find in Hilchas Taruvas also we find, halacha is now being mevatel and isser lechatchila. You have an isser, you now go ahead, add things that be mevatel it. And if someone does it, it's also to use it. If someone does it for somebody else, that person can either use it because it's called that he did it for him. So you have to know if a guy is making dolls to sell them, not to keep. He didn't make it to keep and then decides to sell it. He's making them to sell them, and you go ahead and you buy it. It could be as if you're telling the guy to make it for you. The guy is making it for you. If whoever's going to buy it, he's making it for that person. That's what may come out. It will become a big chumrah. I didn't see the person answering it because of that. I never saw that, but that's what will come out. That if a guy is making it to sell and you're buying it, so it's as if he made it for you. Most of the person don't say that far, but they do say that Rabbi says that if you have a company that makes dolls, it's not so simple they allow to do that, because you're being over on the issue of making the forms, and that's a big issue.
What if you have a doll like you bought like that that is broke and then you want to fix it?
It's also okay. Don't get that. If you can fix it, if you can add it back, it could be it's a problem. Once it broke, to fix it could be it's an issue.
Rabbi Yosef was talking about manufacturing it or being the distributor, like buying it from China and selling it.
No, manufacturing it. Once it's made, it's made. It's still manufacturing.
Just the middleman.
Yeah, the middleman is that's like me and you who buy it in the store. Yeah, the middleman is not the manufacturer. He didn't, unless they manufacture it for him. Well, it's not that way. They manufacture it and then people buy it from the manufacturer.
So the boy's not allowed to do this.
No, so so we say only according to the Rambam. All the other Rishonim don't say like the Rambam. The Rambam is the only one that says it's an Issa avodah zarah. It's interesting. The Rambam never gives a reason for anything he brings down. The Rambam never gives reasonings for the mitzvahs that he brings down. Here is one place the Rambam decided to say the reason. And some people want to say it because the Rambam wanted to show how chomer it is that even goyim can't do it. That's what some Achronim want to say in the Rambam. That's why he brought down the reason over here. But the Lamaisa, most poskim hold that Goyim could do it. It's not Issa for Goyim, it's only Issa for Yisraelim. But Yisrael to make it, it's a big issue. To have a company that makes it could also be an issue. There's another shayla I saw in the poskim, which is very interesting shayla, is wax museums. Wax museums, if it's a Jew who owns a wax museum and they say they have it in Israel, Jews are making them, it's a problem. A person makes a wax thing, it's mamash tzuras adam. It's an issa deraisa to make it. And if it's issa deraisa to make it and it's made by Yisro, you have no right to go banana from it. So I forgot where I saw it. I saw one of the places to bring down that the wax museums in Eretz Yisrael, I guess they have, I never heard of it, they have a wax museum in Yisrael that's made by Yisraelim, it's made by Yidin that made the things, you're not allowed to go there. It's also to go there because it was made by Issa. The Goy makes it, you go to Niagara Falls or whatever, and have the wax museum made by Goyim. For Goyim, yeah, it's not made for you, you're just paying to look at it. Okay, there's no Issa. But to go ahead and to make them could be an Issa. So
it's not ET. It's not like here for sure in a wax museum. It represents a specific person.
Doesn't make a difference. It says Tzuras Adam. It says Tzuras Adam. Not allowed to make.
Right, but it's not ET.
Why not? Tzuras Adam. When you make a Tzuras Adam, that's ET. Your picture, because you didn't know how to make a picture, but the guy knows how to make a picture.
Yeah, but you can ask what was my kavana when I made it.
Doesn't make a difference. No, it's not totally kavana. It's not totally. Even if you're not making, even l'noi, it says for shalacha. Even if you're doing it just l'noi, you're making it for niceness. It's also awesome.
Includes photography.
No, so we said before we're not asking photography.
Oh.
But only tzuras, toilet forms.
Does it have anything to do with the wax isn't a permanent material?
What makes it worse?
The wax is not a permanent
Oh, it's not a permanent?
material.
No, doesn't say anything like that. No, doesn't give heter. No, it lasts for a long time. It lasts for a long time. Those wax sculptures. So those could be a big issue if a Yid makes it. And so now we just spoke about the asiyah, about the making it. Now the halacha is also mishum chashad, which we're going to go as an issa d'Rabbanan. You're not allowed to keep them. So I go to the store and I buy a doll, right? And I have a doll in my house. I bought it. The halacha is you're not allowed to keep it. Also hashoisam. You have to get rid of them. You're not allowed to keep a tzuras adam in your house. So what's the heter? Is there a heter? Is there a heter to keep a tzuras adam, to keep dolls in your house? According to this halacha,
You have to cut it.
most of them in the cables, yeah. But it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't say that dafka.
Shalom bayis.
A man.
When you say I
Shalom
don't
bayis.
when you say
Your daughters.
suicide,
You go never.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear.
Doesn't say. It doesn't say dafka zacher. Even the caves, even females.
No.
So what's the heter? So one famous heter the place can give is that it says in halacha beforehand. You're not allowed to make tzuras of any animals that are like the mazolos. And even if you make it on kelim, it's also about kelim mechubadim asurim. Shevadei nasu l'shem alilim v'im he muvuzim mutarim shlei nasu el l'noi. If they're not nice kelim, but they're used for hishlapshus, it's not nice. So it's definitely not made to avoid the zara. Definitely it's mutar. So there's something called that you make it and it's used b'derech bezoyin mevuzos. Now it doesn't say this heter over here by tzuras adam. It says it before by tzuras anakelim. Some places can want to bring over the heter from there to tzuras adam also. But anytime you have a tzuras adam that's made b'derech bezoyin, it's made not to be used in a nice way, meaning it's meant for kids who schlep it on the ground and they throw it around. It's not a chashav thing. They say it's mutar. Derech mevuzah, it's mutar. So just that some place can say, I'm not going to say all of them, a lot of them argue on this. Because it doesn't say that heter over here.
That's the difference between a doll and something on your mantle or your coffee table.
Right. So even this heter, they give the heter of something that's made b'derech mevuzah, it's meant to use b'derech mevuzah. That's only a heter if you buy the dolls and your kids use it and they play around with it. It's called b'derech mevuzah.
But if you put it on the shelf,
statue with
$500-$600 dolls.
Yeah, an example. Someone has a doll collection. right, and have display dolls. You don't have this heter. This heter you won't have if someone has all of the dolls on display.
Unless they break them, missing something.
Oh, we'll get to that in a second. So you won't have that heter. The heter of derech mevuzah, you won't have by statues, any nice sculpture that you have in front of your house, in your living room, whatever it is. And also you won't have it if someone has a doll collection. This heter will only be if you buy it for kids and kids use it, and they use it b'derech mevuzah. That's the heter some place can give. The Shevet Levi of Vozna doesn't like the heter. He doesn't go with that heter. Now, a lot of places don't go with it. And he says, Mishi yesh le buba. Buba is a doll. He says, Dover poshet, the tzur shlema uponim shalem, the osa lahashos, the tzarach lifgaim haponim kalacha. You have to be poigim, the face kalacha. Meaning, in different places it goes through, what does it mean? How much of the face you have to chop off? But he says you have to chop off part of the face, whether it's an ear, whether it's the nose, whether it's an eye. You have to chop it off. You can't leave it a full tzura, and that's his psak. He doesn't give any heter of derech that it's used b'derech, b'vuzah, b'derech, b'zoyin. So according to Vozna, a lot of places we go through Vozna, if you have a doll in the house, you gotta chop something off. You can't leave it full. And the question is, if to take off an arm or a leg is mutter or not.
Is it possible that today is a little bit different because we have so much? In those days it was so
and therefore,
little.
There is a Chaya Adam that brings down, but they have a lot of kashas on the Chaya Adam, and therefore it's hard to rely on the Chaya Adam for psak. And the Chaya Adam says that since today no one uses these things for avodah zara, so there's no chashad anymore. He himself, as a Stephen the Chaya Adam himself, a few lines later says there is a chashad today. So the master of the person don't rely on the Chaya Adam. But the only two heterim that the place can give today, one heter is if you chop off part of it. It doesn't damage it. It's not a full tzura. A full tzura it's not. There you may have a heter, and that's a Vozna's heter. Take off, chop off an ear, chop off a nose, chop off part of the doll, which is something that's not so easy. You know, especially in a small doll, and then the kids get upset about it. You know, it's not so easy always to chop something off. But a lot of people today that go through Vozna, and they won't keep dolls in the house unless part of it is chopped off.
About those Russian dolls, they are not drawing and they are not tzura.
What do you mean? What's the Russian dolls?
Russian dolls, they're coming one into the other. It's like a block or something, and it's a drawing on it, but it's in space. It's in three-dimensional.
It's not three-dimensional.
Yeah, but it cuts when you open it. It breaks.
It's not a flat piece of paper or a piece of wood. It has a tzura to start with.
No, but the tzura, the ear is not a tzura of an ear. Just it's not sticking out. It's not three-dimensional.
No, but it's not exactly a drawing either.
Yeah, it could be. You could be making those things. You know, those things are more like drawings. You know, they're not boiler. They're not forms. So those things you could be making them probably. You have to find out for sure. But the main issue is the issue of the doll. So and then Vozna says, so what could you chop off?
Whatever you want.
So he says,
Chop off the bill.
Explain that to your dolls. I just cut off your dolls here.
Which area do you want to cut off?
Yeah, which ear do you want to cut off?
what?
By Shabbos, by Halach, you have your lo miskabin.
Yeah, miskabin, right?
It alters the status of the
Right.
Yisro. But here, you know, you're lo miskabin, you have no intention whatsoever with any connection with the Avodah Zarah, and this doesn't apply.
Yeah. So here the issue is not to avoid the Zara. As we said, most Shenim hold,
Right.
even Lenoi.
Right.
The issue is.
But it's just fascinating, like Mr. Shabbos, your kavanah
Yeah,
does count.
because there you have to have a malacha. Here, if we say that the issue is even Lenoi, not because the original issue, the original issue was even Lenoi. Snapshot is an issue is avoid the Zara. But if you're doing it Lenoi, it's also even Lenoi.
Nice part.
Yeah, Noi is the issue because, like we said in the beginning of the shir, there's a whole issue of avoid the Zara. Now there's another pasuk like Sasun Iti, a separate pasuk like Sasun Iti and like Chesev and Hezav. What's that pasuk telling me? Says the Gemara, it's a whole new issue that you can't make it surah even Lenoi. What's the reason why you can't make it even Lenoi? So we said there's two reasons. There's a Rambam that says because it looks like avodah zarah, And the other Rishonim that say because you're making a tzura like the Eibush. But the Isser, the original Isser is even Lanoi. It's not like it's a different Isser and you're not Mechaber. The main Isser is Lanoi.
They make a Yisro like Eibush. They don't even know what Eibush looks like.
Yeah, but so the Rishonim say that the Eibush shows up to Nevi'im with Tzuras Adam. I'll read the
We're not
Lashon.
Nevi'im and no one ever saw it.
Yeah, okay, but
So how do
we
I
know what a person looks like. That we still know. Right?
We're made like image of Hashem.
The Tzuras Adam Levada, Nafki B'Nechsev Sasun Iti, Oisi Kloimer, the Mus Shani Misroa Boy Lenevi'im. Hainu Adam. Lashon Hashach. It's the most the way I show up to the Nevi'im. How do I show up to the Nevi'im? With Tzuras Adam. Therefore, you can't make a Tzura of an Adam. So there's no shaykhis to.
Why can't you say that a Tzura of a Tinok is okay? A Tinok is still an Adam?
Yeah, why not?
Well, he never showed up as a Tinok,
Maybe the kids he did.
I don't know. We know. This was PARSHA says he showed up to Zaken, right?
Did he show up as a man?
As an old person.
If Hashem has no demus, why would
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's like compared to, it's almost like it's like a nobody insulting a great person. It means nothing.
Hey, I had the kasha. We spoke about it in the beginning. We said that even though we say that in the Mammons, ain't like guf, right? Hashem has no guf. So to compare Hashem to any guf is aser. It's one of the Yud Gimel Ikrim, but still. When he shows up to Nevi'im, the way he presents himself, when Navi is looking at something, we don't know what it means, but when Navi saw Hashem, the way they saw it was with Tzuras Adam. Hashem showed up at Tzuras Adam. So this is all going, not like the Rambam. All the Hashem that say the reason why it's also is because Hashem is it's respect to Hashem. Then I can hear your question. According to the Rambam, that's a chash v'avodah zara. Then it's not even a question. Okay, so the Maisa we're going to have. So I was going through the vote, and it says that all this Isser of and the head of chopping something off, how much they have to chop off. So he says the big of the Pitzchei Tshuva, the Gam Roish Goylem v'Atum Im Guf Shalem Aser. The Pitzchei Tshuva says even of a face, Atum, meaning there's no ears, no eyes, but it has the rest of the body, is also awesome. So according to that, it won't help if you have a doll and you chop off an ear. It's not going to help. Even if there's no picture, there's no form on the face, it's awesome.
Chop off the head.
Chop off the head. You have a doll. But he says, Kol HaGadolim Kol Kamalazeh. The what's called the Shemo Levi Ravosa says everyone of Ma'aser argues in the Pitzchei Tshuva. I'm Tshuva is Maharit. They say Ein Mekar the Chumer is Hagon Yavitz. So he says the Ma'aser. What's the begimah? Choitim dai. To chop off the nose is enough. That's what he says. Chop off the nose is enough. If you poke out an eye, I don't know if it's going to help because you don't really change the tzura. Make a hole in the eye. You have to cut off part of the tzura. You have to cut off part of the tzura in order to get rid of the tzuras adam. So we're not going to go with the chumrah of the yavitz that even if it's a goyla, meaning it's no ear and eyes, it's still awesome. But if something you have to chop off, something that's royal, an eye, poking out an eye, maybe not. Chopping off a nose, chopping off an ear, definitely would be okay.
So these are directs just like